Hello everyone, welcome to this Global GEG broadcast. We'll be making a start shortly, and while we're waiting for everyone to arrive, why not head into the chat, let us know who you are, where you're from, your Twitter handle, and if you've got any questions that you'd like us to answer during the course of this evening, let us know there as well. Also, if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button to make sure you stay up to date with all of the events being organised by us at Global GEG. We'll be making a start really soon. Thanks for joining us.
Yay! Hey, welcome. Hi, Stacey. How are you today?
Good, Dana. How are you? It's so nice to see you.
You too. I'm so excited about being here for the beginner guide to G Suite Google Calendar, or as I'm going to refer to it, GCal, because it is one of my favorite tools and I use it every single day.
Yep, me too. And we were really excited to choose this tool because when Avid came up with this amazing beginner's guide to G Suite, we both loved calendar so much. I was like, Dana, do you want to do it? Sure. So we were really excited to share that one of our favorite tools of all.
Yeah, well, let's introduce you. Who are you?
Next slide. Hooray. My name is Stacey Klein. I'm a teacher in the Santa Ana Unified School District. I'm a Google certified trainer and a National Board certified teacher. And I teach career technical education, STEM, computer science, maker ed, all sorts of things where the kids have hands-on. And I'm also a Global GEG leader and a GEG SoCal founder and co-leader with my amazing colleagues, Becky and Karen. Yay! So happy New Year, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Hit it, Dana.
Well, I'm Dana Cooney, and I am very similar to Stacey. I'm a computer science teacher in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am also all those Google certified stuff that she mentioned, and I'm just really excited because I love sharing tech tools with other people. It's probably one of the favorite parts of my job.
Yeah, it's cool. We get to be mentors and kind of part-time instructional coaches, although our primary job is teaching students. We're always available to help other people and train other people. So it's kind of a groovy position to be in.
It really is.
So we have an agenda set jam-packed today. We're not going to make this a huge hour-long presentation. We're going to try to keep it around 30 minutes because this is just your first steps with Google Calendar. And I'll let Dana run us through the agenda.
Okay, so we're going to be answering some questions. Some of the questions we're going to be answering. Well, first we're going to start with a couple cheat sheets. So if you are going through this and you don't remember everything, you will have resources to go back to find what we were talking about. Then we're going to talk about why we use GCal, what's on the home page, what should I see when I log in, how do you create an event, how do you create a calendar, how do you share a calendar, how do you subscribe to other people's calendars, and what are some of the settings we should know about.
And we're going to use our or Google's calendar cheat sheet. And it's here, it's embedded, so it's clickable for when we're done. So don't worry about if this is a brain dump for you. You can come back and refer to it. And we're going to stick closely to this cheat sheet so that you can go back and review it and say, now, what did they do here? How did we add a title? And then Dana's brilliant idea was to add keyboard shortcuts. A lot of us get into keyboard shortcuts and can do things even faster. And then she's going to do a review of the settings. That'll, if you really are starting to go, I jive with this and this, I understand it. So then the settings will open your world up because Google Calendar is extremely powerful. You can use it to manage lab equipment and appointment settings with families. It's the sky's the limit. So this is your very, very light introduction, but it does link you out to everything that you could possibly want. So here's the resources for the cheat sheets and the keyboard shortcuts.
Okay, so the first question is, why should you use Google Calendar? Why should I convince you that the calendar you're using is not as good as this one? Well, one of the things is it integrates to almost every popular platform online. So if you make an appointment with someone or have something scheduled, it usually imports straight into your Google Calendar, so you don't need to worry about it. Also, it is it's used on so many platforms and it's so easy to use and you can share it with so many people and it's just a great way to stay organized. So I gotta say, you should be using Google Calendar. So go ahead and head to the next slide, Stacey.
Woohoo. Yay.
Yes.
So,
Okay, so
Dana's going to take us on a review, pardon me. Dana's going to take us on a review of what's on every Google Calendar. If we were really smart, we would have went, you do this slide, I'll do the next slide. But anyways, she's going to take us on a quick review. And then Dana, let me know if you want me to log into that other calendar to show that or do that later.
That's actually what we're going to start with right now. Stacey has a brand new Google account that's never been logged into. So this way we can see what you would see the very first time you log into your brand new Google Calendar. So Abed was kind enough to make an account for us. So we're using a brand new account. So go ahead, Stacey. As soon as we sign in, we'll see what a brand new user sees.
That's what I love working with Dana, because I was about to give Abed props and she gave Abed props, so like going, just always thinking alike. That's so awesome. Yeah, he just literally popped in here and he goes, here's an account you can use. Oh,
thank you. You appreciate that.
Ooh, I don't know if that one got. I'll try typing it in. And if it doesn't work, we can do a different one.
Well, if it doesn't work, we'll just move on because.
Not a worry. Oh, goody. You know, it's funny, copying and pasting, it wouldn't log in. So I tried typing in the password and then that worked.
There may have been a space on the end. I usually have that problem. Okay, so this is the very, very first time you log into a Google Calendar. And we got it loading, it's bringing in all the profiles.
And while we're waiting for that to load, here's the Global GEG calendar. So you can see, we're going to go over each part of that section, but to make it clear to you, how do you start out with a calendar? We wanted to log in with a brand new one.
Is it going to work?
Yeah, I think so. It's just, yeah, that's the one. There it is. So that's kind of neat. You guys, this is a really cool, the fun thing about doing these trainings is if it isn't working, don't sweat it. So what I did was I assumed this page wasn't going to load. So I opened another tab and that's it. There it goes. So a lot of things really are turn it on and off again.
Okay, but let's even look at this screen right here, because right here it tells us that our calendar is going to sync with the Play Store or with the App Store. So you can use this on Apple or you can use this on PC. It works on both of them. So, and I know, do you have yours on your phone, Stacey?
Absolutely. Oh.
Couldn't live without it. So here is a calendar. The default setting is going to be this one right here. And we see that it's on 1 week. So that's the default. I changed mine. So we're going to be talking about how to change that later because I like mine on month. What do you keep yours on, Stacey?
Month and day. I'm with you. So when I'm on my screen, I like it on the month, and on my phone, I have it on the day because it's such a tiny screen on my phone. So definitely the month.
That's so funny. I do that too. Great minds. Great minds. Okay, so let's start looking at the homepage here because this is the Google Calendar homepage. Let's start in the top left-hand corner. The first thing you're going to see is a plus sign where you can create an event. So Stacey's going to go over creating an event in a minute, but just below it, we have kind of like the overview of where your calendar is. So you can always use this to push forward or push back and click on any day you want to get to if you're just kind of trying to figure out when is a Friday in January on the 4th Friday to figure out when it's going to be. And then down below that, you're going to have 2 sets of calendars. You're going to have my calendars. Those are the ones that you own. And there's going to be other people's calendars. And others' calendars, well, that opens a whole new box of worms. That can be like my husband's calendar would be down there because I have to know what's going on because we plan a family together. But also you can subscribe to other people's calendars. Like I'm a Vikings fan, a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I like to have the Vikings schedule on my calendar. I can go subscribe to that. So that's great. And then the main part of your page is going to be the layout that you choose. You can choose to do the day. You can choose to do the month. You can choose to do 4-day. Or the one I like is whenever I have a busy day, I like to go down to schedule and take a look at that one. And your day's not going to show up if you don't have anything scheduled. But if you have at least one thing scheduled, your day will show up here so you can kind of see what's going on. But let's go back to month. I also wanted to show another thing. Notice how some things are, oh, this one's the blank one. Let's go to the GEG one so we can see it a little more events going on. So see how some of the things are highlighted and some of the things aren't? Things that are highlighted are going to be all day events. So they don't have a time block. It's just this is the day it happens on. And then things that are not highlighted are actually going to have a time. And I love how everything's color coordinated. Do you have everything color coordinated, Stacey, so you know exactly what color does what? Oops.
Absolutely.
So the only other thing I wanted to show you guys, if you want to navigate from one month to the next, you're going to find that right on the top of the calendar. And then there's a today button. If you're ever away from, so use the top button and scroll to another month. Okay, so now you're on February, you're looking for dates, but now you want to quickly get back to today. All you have to do is click today. And you get right back where you were. So that's the intro to what Google Calendar looks like. And Stacey, why don't you go ahead and take it on to the next slide?
Yay! That was a great overview. Thanks, Dana. The neat thing about opening that other calendar on here was you can also see that if you are working and you're logged into your work account, then you can, I'm gonna close that one that doesn't work. Oh, there we go, good. You can also open up your personal calendar. You need to be a little more aware because you don't want them to commingle. But so you can see that I'm logged in and showing the Global GEG calendar, but I'm also logged into the sample account that Avid was so kind to make for us. So what we're going to do on this page is create an event, and let's say it's something next month. And school's starting for us on January 4th. So I'm going to click on January 4th. I'm going to give it a title, School Resumes Spring Semester. And you can give it a type of indication of what it is. You can set reminders. You can make this a task. If it's something that you want to pick up your children at daycare, you can make that a task. And then we'll go through that in a minute and show you where to find your tasks. You can also add a time. So for the sake of demonstration, I'll say 8 a.m. because that's a reasonable time to start school. And then, but you could say all day if you wanted it to, but we're going to have it be 8 a.m. and then have it end at, I don't know, 2:30 or something. Not 2:30 in the morning. Not doing that. And then something really important here is time zone. Even if you're not in Global GEG and you're trying to schedule things around the planet, you have someone you know and communicate with overseas or in another time zone. So you can set the time zone. And that way, if you need to use a different time zone from your own, otherwise it'll obviously default to your time zone.
I don't think that is obvious. You do have to have location permission set on your computer so that it knows where you are. But this is really great for someone who maybe works in close to 2 different time zones. Like in Nevada, we live really close to Arizona, and half the year they're in a different time zone. So my computer will actually know that. But I can actually have them both set and choose the one I want. So that's also really great. We're going to see that in settings in a little bit.
Yay. And if you want this event to repeat, you could have it, let's say it's going to resume on January 4th every year. So I can say annually on January 4th, and every single year it'll pop up, and it'll even give you the option annually on the first month Monday. So if you do custom, you can say every year on the first Monday. So there's a lot of, you have a lot of ability to make this personalized for whatever event that is. The next thing you can do is you can add guests. So we can add Dana. I don't know if she went. This is Avid's demo account, so we probably won't populate there, but we could add Dana and my Gmail account to add a guest. We can also add Google Meet video conferencing. This is invaluable, so the link's right there. Once you add these guests, they will get an email with a link to that Google Meet. You can add a location if you want it to be specific, if it's going to be at UNLV. Hey, look at that. Comes right up, so we can say we're going to be meeting there, not virtually, and it tells exactly what it is. There's even more options if you want to get, you could add, if you're flying, I like to put a copy of my electronic ticket in there with the code that I need when I check in. And then am I going to give my guests permissions to modify the event? Am I going to let guests invite other people? I can select or deselect that. And am I going to let my guests see the guest list, see who's there? So all these things are possible. Yay.
You know what I love is when you have all of your friends and family and contacts in your Google Contacts. All you have to do is type their name and their email address pops up right away. Makes life so much easier.
That, and I can show you that on our event here. Here's Beginner's Guide to Calendar that Dana and I are doing. So if I edit this event, now our addresses are in here. So I can see we're already in here, but let's say we add Abid. And so we can add Abid to our guest list. And we can let Abid modify it. We can let him invite others, see the full guest list. We can add some more. We could add a bit.ly to our slides. If we were presenting this via Google Meet, we could have added that, but we don't want to for this event. But it does show you more, and see it'll send updates. So Abid, Dana, and I will get an update that this event was modified. So great. Oh, and then I'm doing additional calendars too. So when you want to add an additional calendar, this is one thing that Dana's already alluded to. She is sharing the joys of raising a family with her husband. So they need to coordinate their calendars. And if you don't want to simply share your calendar with your partner, then you can also add their personal calendar. And you're going to add, you can either subscribe to it, create a new calendar. You can browse calendars of interest. This is kind of neat. If you want to add your holidays, the wonderful thing about being in Global GEG is the diversity of cultural expression and religious expression. So it's really fun to have everybody's holidays so that you see what somebody might be celebrating that day. So it's lots of very neat calendars that you can subscribe to. There's also the lunar, the moon calendar and weather. The other thing here is if you select your contacts, if you put your birthdays in your contacts, then that information will populate on your birthday calendar. And then don't worry, if you ever add a calendar so that you can get in here and delete it, things like that. These settings are way beyond the beginning class. Dana will go over it a little bit, but there's ways to embed calendars on a website, and you can see that here. We're going to go over that in a minute, how to subscribe to them, but that's what that means. To embed a calendar, it'll show up on a website. And let me go back here. So we've got holidays in the US, and we've got our birthdays selected. If we don't want people's birthdays, we can take it off, but it's still there, so we know we have it. Did you want me to add a different calendar right now, Dana, or is that pretty good so far?
Oh, sure. What are you on your personal account, or are you on the global one?
This one is the demo, and then here is the Global GEG.
Okay, so like in my house, what we like to do is we like to add a calendar with our kids' names on it. So then it's a different color. That way we know whether the event is for us or it's for them. It still has to be my calendar because I still have to drive my 9-year-old to her dance class or whatever, but then I can make it a different color so it stands out differently. So I can create a Lillian calendar. And she's actually in the chat right now. So
good girl.
Her.
So I made a Dana calendar, and then I'll make a 1L or 2?
1 for Lily.
Oh, there you go. Lily's calendar. She'll dig that. So here we have 2 new calendars, and you'll see they pop up right away. And the cool thing is you can make those colors. So you click on the 3 dots next to the calendar that you created. And what color do you think? Pink?
Purple.
Blue? Purple, atta girl. Great. And then what color is Lily?
Red.
All right. Tomato.
I just say that naturally because that's the colors of our calendars. So I know when I see those colors, that's who they are. And then I also share those calendars with my work account and make my work account an owner. So we're both owners of the same account. So we both have editing rights to both of those. So it works really great.
And it lets you edit from any device that you're on. So you're not worried about if you're logged in somewhere else. One other thing with events, to, let's say, pick up pizza, right? And because this is in the future on January 4th, we can make that a task, and we can have a reminder. And the reminder you've got all sorts of opportunities to make a reminder on a task. But so if you say task, it'll add it to your task. And then you can see we have tasks selected here. So you can see if you want your tasks to show up on your calendar, you just select that. And then also over here, it shows a list of your tasks.
One of the cool things about reminders is if you fail to do your reminder that day, it just goes on to the next day. So it doesn't go away. It still makes you do it. But don't have time to pick up milk today, it'll be on your tasks tomorrow.
So if you're a sticky note person, I'm a sticky note person. And even with my Google Keep, I've got, if I turn these into tasks, it's going to very conveniently put these on my calendar and also have them listed in my taskbar. So I don't have sticky notes here that I have to remember this or that or the other. They're already there and easy to find. So that's my next big shift, is the shift over to tasks. I love my Google Keep. I'll never get rid of it, but I will also make tasks. See what our next slide says. Yay, sharing calendars.
Sharing calendars. This one, they make it just so self-explanatory. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab Dana's our main calendar, our head calendar, and we have to share it. I'm going to share it with my dear friend Stacey. So go ahead and click the 3 dots and hit that. Yep, yeah, that one right there.
And for us, the reason it's called Beginner Guide is this is that sample account that Abbott set up for us. So it would say Stacey. If I was in my own account, it would say Stacey, or for example, here in Global, it says Global. So it's clear what calendar you're really on. But in this account, we're called Beginner Guide. So here we are. We're going to go to the 3 dots like Dana said, settings and sharings like she said. Yay.
Okay, so it's what are we sharing? So this is what we are sharing, and then we're going to set the primary time zone, and then the access permissions. What do you guys want other people to do with this calendar? So like, I'm a Girl Scout leader. I want parents to see the calendar, but I don't necessarily want them to edit the calendar. So I'm going to pick my settings according. So let's say this is Stacey, and let's say me and Stacey are working on this together, and we need to have full access to everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to share settings. And oh, there's an option to get a shareable link. So easy. Anybody with the link can view the calendar. So with the Girl Scout calendar, that's how I sent it the first time, is I got a shareable link. But then again, with the permissions, as I also made it public, but that's not always a good idea. You got to think about who needs access to this calendar. So you can go ahead and copy the link.
And there's your shareable link. Yay. Hey,
and there's the calendar. Okay, let's go ahead and not make it public. And let's say I'm just going to share it with Stacey. So Stacey, go ahead and add people. And now add your name. And now what kind of permissions? Oh, you're not in the contact list, so you have to add your email address. What kind of permissions do I want her to have? Well, I want her to be able to do everything. So I want her to do the bottom one there, which is change the settings and manage the settings, and hit send. Now I've invited her to pretty much be just as important as I am on this calendar.
Yay. And if, let's say, Stacey gets a job somewhere else and she's not in your organization anymore, you just click X and it's done. It's very nice.
I've kicked her out again.
Yeah.
And that's how simple sharing a calendar is.
The notifications are really nice and handy too, because you can get notifications by, notification means it just pops up on your screen. You can also get email notifications, and you can add, so you can have a variety of them. So let's say you want an email 10 minutes before and a pop-up notification 10 minutes before, but you also want a notification like 10 days before and an email notification 10 days before. So, or 10 hours before. So you could add as many notifications as you need. If it's your wedding and you want to make sure you don't mess it up and miss it, you can add a bunch of them.
Stacey, why don't we show them how easy it is to add someone else's calendar to yours, like GEG SoCal or GEG Nevada?
Yay, and we have this ready to go for you. So here's GEG SoCal, and we are going to subscribe to GEG SoCal's calendar. Super easy. And here's Google Calendar, the little blue plus sign. It says add calendar. You click add.
You can see something popped up on December 1st.
Yay. And you can see here, and if you were wondering, did it show up? And here it is right here. So if we look, our next meeting is in January. So you can see GEG SoCal monthly meet. we're in the Eastern time zone on the Global GEG calendar. So for us, it's 7 p.m. We're not having a 10 o'clock meeting for GEG SoCal. But you can see too, if I don't want to see all of my GEG SoCal events, it doesn't have to display it. We can also do settings and rename that. Instead of having that be the email, GEG SoCal calendar. Piece of cake. And then I think I have to click save. Yeah, good.
I never know the save button.
Those things will save instantly. Others will be, you need to do something to them.
Stacey, what if I subscribe to a calendar and I don't want it anymore?
Then you can definitely unsubscribe. So we'll go back in here and see. Let's go back into settings. You can hide it from the list, or you can period just straight up unsubscribe. Gone. So once again, here's GEG Nevada. And you click the little plus sign in there. And that, again, this is what an embedded calendar, when that embed link with all that HTML code just means you could copy and paste that HTML code in your website and it'll display. And every time you update it, it is up to date. It doesn't, there's no lag there. It's instantly updated. So we're going to subscribe to Dana's GEG Nevada. There you go. So since it came up GEG Nevada, what I will do on our GEG SoCal calendars, I will rename it because it must have our our email address currently. So that's why that's displaying straight up GEG Nevada. And then we can always leave it there and then just deselect it if our calendar is getting too busy.
All right, this is going great. Let's keep rolling here.
Yay. Oh, we did.
Well,
there we
we
go.
already
We started
this.
Yay, good.
Okay.
Ooh, this is a big part.
And let's just run over settings just a little bit. We're not going to hit them hard, but the settings of gear is up on the right-hand side next to where it says month. So let's go ahead and open up that gear so we can get back to settings.
And like any tool with any Google app and any tool, look for those gears because you can't hurt anything. You just open it up and you can see what's available to you. So always look for that gear. So you want settings?
Yep, we're going to pick settings. Okay, so some of the main things you need to know in settings is the language and the region. I speak English. I live in the United States. A lot of these things will come in naturally because it knows, but the time zones. So you can have up to 2 of your own time zones, but if you go down to world clock, you can add as many world clocks as you want. So Stephanie Howell can add all the clocks so she never messes up again. And then the times.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's props to our Global GEG founders. Holy mackerel, there's a lot of time zones in our group. So do you want me to select world clock right now, Dana?
Oh, sure, go ahead. Show the world clock and add a time zone. Let's go ahead and add, what time zone is it? Eastern? They're in Eastern?
They're in Eastern, and then you'll notice, I was going to show you that Eastern, there we are. Detroit, I guess Detroit it is.
Detroit it is. All right, good.
Oh, it didn't, isn't that weird? It didn't stay there. What did I do?
No, it did under world clock.
Oh, duh. That's funny.
Time zone and world clock are just a little bit different. Time zone is where the creator is. World clock is where everybody else is. So if it's one of your time zones, you put it under time zone.
Someone like you who's straddling Pacific and Mountain, do you keep your Pacific and Mountain right here? Because
no, I am not that advanced. I have to keep it on Pacific, otherwise I will mess up.
Yeah.
But then my world clock, I actually do have Minnesota's time because that's where my family's from. There's a 2-hour difference.
And then you'll notice with languages, it's okay to whatever English you prefer, but if you're in the United Kingdom predominantly or in the United States predominantly, there's a few little subtleties that will, especially spelling, it'll make you nuts. If the United States uses a Z and the UK uses an S, you want to make sure you've selected the dialect of English that you want so that you're not making spelling errors that you might cause you discomfort in your work environment, stuff like that. So we'll leave it at English UK because it's Abbott's calendar.
Or like the date format. Let's look at that one. the US uses month, day, year, which is crazy. The UK uses day, month, year, which is way smarter. I don't know why we do it the other way around.
Yeah, see, it's also what the military uses, so in the rest of most of the planet. But the other thing too is if you need 24-hour time. That's funny that you brought that up. That's great.
Yeah, we've hit the most important settings that we want to look at, but I do want to take 1 minute to look at the event settings, because these are the standard things that are going to come up every time you see it, and also view options. Remember how you said you like it on a week calendar, and I like mine on a month? This one's set to 4-day. The first thing I would do is go switch 4-day to month, because I love that one.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you on the month. I like the day on my phone and my month on my computer, because otherwise I don't get the big picture. So what would you do in event settings, Dana?
For events, I like to keep mine on 60 minutes as the default. What do you keep yours on?
60 minutes, definitely.
Yeah. And those are really the most important settings you're going to find to make sure you run through these. And the rest of them are just extra, and they get into a little bit advanced. Do you have anything you wanted to add on here? Working hours, so cool, but advanced feature.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely advanced. The task one, it's neat because although I'm not using it yet, I'm going to start using it right away. It did also just recently become that sophisticated just this past year. These tasks they're dynamite. So I'm definitely going to change to that, because I've also got other email lists so that I do. I'll email myself a list of things to do, and this is so much easier. The cool thing about tasks, if you can train yourself to do this, it will pull tasks from your emails and say, would you like to make this a task? It reads the email for that kind of content and helps you out with that. So it's very, very useful. It's a very practical guide. The other thing, Dana, right here, would you like to go over this part for people, like the density and color and things like that, or?
Oh, sure. Why don't you click on one of those and we can look at some different densities and colors.
Cool. This is huge, because like UDL, Universal Design for Learning, and then when Google switched their icons, everybody was a hooey. And it wasn't about people being critical about colors. It's really, really important. Everybody has a different way that they can make meaning of things that are on a screen. So colors and shades and tones, all those things are phenomenally important. So you can adjust all this so that it works for your visual needs.
It's also really important to be ADA compliant and to make sure that students with disabilities, colorblind, can see those differences. Students with ADHD want something less busy, things like that.
And especially important when we're talking about ADA compliance is to default with black text, because that is the text color that is most visible across many different visual needs. So you can add color as contrast and for design, but keep the text in black so that people can read it. Yay! So it looks like
I am looking through the chat now to see if there are any questions, and there's a lot of great comments, but I'm not seeing anybody have questions. Does anybody want to drop any questions in the chat?
Lily wants to know what time lunch is.
Lily had lunch not too long ago. I made her noodles with sauce.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, that's very cool. We kept it to almost 30 minutes. Yay, Dana.
That's perfect. Yay. Yeah.
So once again, if you go to the slide deck, if you go to our cheat sheet, that's your go-to. It's really easy to get started with Google Calendar. It's really easy to share them. There is a lot of functionality in there, and it makes your life so much easier. Then if you start getting a little more savvy, you can use the keyboard shortcuts. But everything we discussed is on the cheat sheet, something you can refer back to, and then you can always watch this video again and stop and start where you need help. But thank you very much.
Did we remember to bit.ly this?
For the, beg your pardon?
Did we remember to put this in a bit.ly to drop in the chat?
Actually, I think Abed's got a plan for how he's going to distribute the slides, but don't worry. If Abed would like us to make a bit.ly, we'll put that on our opening slide and make this very accessible. Otherwise, everything is on our Global GEG website.
Okay, great.
Yay. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody.
I think we're ready to go then.
And then don't forget, I've got us get connected. Please share your Twitter handle. And then don't forget to subscribe. Everything can be, all our sessions can be seen again. And then if you have time, we would love for you to share your feedback. I believe that Dana put that on our last slide as well. So, because Dana will send, she uses all of our feedback and sends letters to all of our presenters. So this feedback really not only helps us get your ideas and feedback on the presentation, but it also helps Dana send some happy comments to our presenters. So thank you for joining us. And with that, I will send us out on a outro with, we'll do Izzy.
Thank you for joining us at this Global GEG event. You can watch this recording as many times as you want. Visit our website or Twitter for more information. Don't forget to join our Google group. Don't forget to fill out the feedback form. Thank you for joining us at this Global GEG event.